Dating is truly about your connection and your dynamic with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why sometimes you see a couple and you're like, oh, I wouldn't really put the two of them together.
But they might have a lot in common.
Exactly. And their dynamic together is magical.
Right.
And like as a third party looking from the outside in, you're like, that doesn't really make sense. But like you don't know what they're like behind closed doors together.
Mm-hmm.
And so like don't be so caught up in leagues. Be more caught up in like finding somebody who fits really well with you and who you have an amazing connection with.
Right.
At First Rounds on Me, we believe that one real date is better than 100 pen pals. With our mobile dating app, we make it fun and easy for you to meet someone in person for a real date. See someone you're interested in? We help plan your date. Pick a drink, a time, a venue, and send that person a date invite. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Crowdsourcing Love. I'm your host, Marin, and today I have my co-founder of Maar Dating Club, Cassandra Camacho, here with me. Hi, Cassandra.
Hi, Marin. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming back. You're a regular at this point. So Cassandra is pregnant, and she just moved to Connecticut. So she's basically living the American dream. How is it going?
I am 25 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's been good. It's been easy.
Okay. You're like insanely chill as a pregnant woman, which is cool.
Maybe in front of you. I don't think my husband would say the same thing. Sleeping is definitely very hard, I would say, and it just gets harder.
Okay.
And just a few things that it's like annoying, but I mean it is what it is. And like I'm glad that I don't have to stop doing things, because like I know that like high risk pregnancies and all of those things, and it's like I am very grateful that I'm not in that position. And so yeah, healthy.
So that's amazing. And at Maar Dating Club, she's like going to networking events. She's like we're all drinking at these events, and she's just like having her little soda water. So you're still able to hang. Someone asked, we want to know everything about your love life. Are you in a relationship? And it's a little controversial because I'm exclusively seeing somebody. I know in the past I said you shouldn't exclusively see someone. You should either
Did he ask you, do you want to be exclusive?
Yes.
Okay.
So he asked me like 3 weeks into seeing each other. And the reason being was he was going away for business for 3 weeks. And I think he wanted to give me the reassurance, like, I take you really seriously. I'm not seeing anyone else. I hope you're not seeing anyone else either. And so typically I would say, like, don't be exclusive. But now I'm kind of like changing my mind.
I think yes and no. I love saying that.
I know.
Because I think that at Maar we're always like trying to set boundaries, right? And like what does exclusivity means? And like I think that in your case it kind of makes sense just because you guys were dating for such a short time. And it's like if he asked you, it was just to give you reassurance that he wasn't gonna, and he was away. So just to give you reassurance of like I'm here and like you're here and like we're together, but it's like it's a little too soon to put a label on it. But yeah, I think it makes sense in this situation. But I think that overall and like the way that it's like it's seen is like these guys asking girls to be exclusive for like 6 months, right? Or like a year. And it's like, what does that even mean?
Right.
So it's like you guys are still early days. So
it's been a little over a month now.
Yeah. It's been a little bit over a month. So it's like, okay, now when he comes back, it's gonna like, what's next, right? But that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But I think that it helps like maybe early days, even like I would say like 1 or 2 weeks in, it could be actually a green flag that it's like, I'm actually not seeing anyone else. Like would love to be like exclusive, like just the two of us to see, like figure it out. And there has to be another step, which is like boyfriend and girlfriend, right? But it's like,
but it's like a little mini step along the way. And what I'm realizing is that a romantic relationship, it's not like you just wait till you hit a milestone and you start talking about something. It's like you should be having little micro conversations along the way. And honestly, since I the moment we like started seeing each other, I wasn't seeing anyone else, but it wasn't because I was like, I'm committed to him. I just didn't really have the desire to see anyone else. And I've been on the opposite extreme where I've been seeing like 5 guys all at the same time trying to juggle. And that was too much for me. And I'm not saying people should like be on one spectrum or the other. I think there's like a happy medium. Yeah. But with him, since the moment we started dating, I didn't really have the urge to date anyone else. And I think that's okay.
And I think that's perfect. And I think that it goes back to like our rules, that it's like date from 1 to like up to 3 the most.
Yeah, the Maar rules for dating. Yeah.
And it's like, I think that 1 is fine because you don't want to date anyone else, you know? But if it's like you're not sure and maybe you met someone and it's like, oh my God, like he's also great, so let's give it a try, you know?
Yeah.
I think in those situations it makes sense. It's not about hitting a quota. It's about like how you're feeling and how these people are making you feel, and see what happens with both of them.
Yeah. And
or
so,
just one person.
And so with him, it's like, I don't feel like, even if he and I did not work out, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I wasted so much time, because I'm still doing other things. I'm investing in myself. I'm building a business. I'm very, very busy.
Again, I think it depends on the situation. And I think the bad thing is that a lot of guys take advantage of that exclusivity so they don't have to commit.
Right.
And I think that when that happens, just run.
Totally. Run away. We're officially launching our 28-day dating reset journal. Here it is. Woo!
I love it.
So this is honestly something I used while I started dating the guy I'm seeing now, because I wanted to be like super intentional and reflect upon our relationship, because I'm 32. Like, I'm dating for something real. People will sometimes get upset with me when I say I'm dating for marriage, but I do want marriage and a family. And so this journal has really, I've been using the prototype, but it's really helped me kind of like slow down and understand, like, am I physically attracted to them? Am I intellectually attracted to them? Do we have aligned values? Do we have aligned goals? And it's also grounded me because I'm an anxious dater. And so being able to kind of write things out and collect the data has been so helpful, because it kind of slows down the process, and it helps me not to future trip either or be like too attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
Because truly dating is one date at a time. In early days, you only want to make sure that like the date that you're on is just to see if you want to go on another one. It's not to say like, do I want to marry them? How could you know? You need more data.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. And that's also
do you want to hold
what
it?
That's for. Yeah.
This is our first Maar product.
I know.
Which is
We're
so cool.
Excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's mainly why we wanted to put this, like, there's nothing like this in the market right now. Nothing where, like, we hear all these people always talking about, like, their lists. And, like, I have a list of the guys that I'm going out with. And even, like, I have my list of the guys that I'm sleeping with. Or, like, I don't know.
The roster.
Like, the roster and all these things. And I think that this puts it all together on top of, like, how are these guys truly making me feel? And it's helpful because I think that sometimes it's harder to let go when you don't see the data, you know? And I think, like, if you put a page that involves like this specific guy that has treated you so bad, and it's like you have this page to go back to, it's like, okay, these are the facts. You know, like, I can't stop lying to myself.
Totally.
And same thing with a guy that treats you so well, but there's maybe something missing, and it's like, okay, maybe that little thing is missing, but let's review all the things that make me feel so good when I'm with him, and the future that we could have together.
And he's consistent. When it comes to your top priorities, it's like you should be filtering everyone through that. You should be filtering through your non-negotiables and setting your standards. And this journal really walks, you through this. And so just to cover some of the other things that we talk about, we also kind of have like a bunch of sections that are like how-tos. What topics to talk about on a first date. Like, for example, a lot of our clients are really successful, business-minded people, but the first date really is not the time and place to go deep into business. This is romance. So we talk about all those different pieces of the puzzle, dating topics, what to do if they ghost you, how to end it, building your confidence, understanding your top priorities like we've talked about already. So we definitely recommend this journal.
Yeah, it's not only like filling it up and like writing down stuff. Like it also includes a lot of information,
Right.
About best practices and like everything that you mentioned is like, it's like you're not only reviewing your own dating life, you're also learning at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And then my favorite part is the daily dating log. And we also have dating mantras in here, but the daily dating log, literally, this is a prototype by the way, but it makes you, like I said, it makes you rate your chemistry. But your chemistry could be physical, emotional, intellectual, or sexual. And then it also like goes through the green flags, the red flags, you know, and it helps you have the mindset of intentional dating, because if you are intentional dating, you should honestly be going on a date per week minimally.
Yeah.
You should be putting in the effort to meet people out in the wild, as well as via the dating apps, as well as through your network. And so this is going to walk you through how to do that and strategically do it, because some people are like, oh yeah, just like go to events. And it's like, okay, but what events are you going to?
And what are you going to do at those events? Who do you want to meet? I think that,
are you going to talk to people?
Yeah, I think that a lot of times people, again, the expectation part, I think that a lot of times we don't even know what we want. And it's like, or we want too many things that it's like what are actually important, or we're too open. Also,
we have clients, so we're matchmakers, of course, and we also do dating consulting and coaching. And the nice thing about this is we're constantly collecting data of trends that's going on in the dating market within different major cities. And we've noticed that some people are dating so much, like where like they're so marriage minded, they're going on like 5 dates per week, and they don't take the moments to kind of step back and reflect, like, how does my body feel with this person? Like, do we align in the ways that we've already talked about? And they're just kind of like burning through people. And I think that's a mistake. And then we also have clients where they're a little bit, they overthink things and they're so in their head that they don't take action, and they're not actually going out there and experiencing life. And so we see both sides of the table, and I think you have to try to find a happy medium. And I really think this journal will help you. Also, with this journal, we have an online course, and people have been loving it.
The course, which goes really, the course is about like what to do.
Yeah.
Just in general, like a reset, like, you know what, I am 32 and I have no idea where to start. Like, where do I meet people? What do I do if I meet someone? Like, how often should I be dating? Like,
how often should I see them? Do I even like them?
Yeah, it's like it's like when you are starting and you hire a personal trainer at the gym.
Yeah,
they're gonna tell you literally how to start. You go to a nutritionist. You do this. That's what the course is about.
And we get into the superficial too, like what to wear, how to appear, because like it or not, appearance is a part of dating too.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't think about, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like, you know what to do. No. You don't. Yeah. You know, and it's so it's so what's the word? Like, I don't know. Like, you would think that everyone knows it, but
you
don't.
Think it's intuitive, but it's not. And again, like, because we talk to very eligible men and women all day, every day, we see like different mistakes that people are making, and we've combined all of the best experts out there and created our own course, so that like we're like 5 steps ahead of you. Yeah. And now you can just kind of plug and play and use the info that we've provided to you know, maximize your time, because time is like the most valuable resource. So kind of going into time being the most valuable resource, our main bread and butter with Maar Dating is our matchmaking. People have a lot of questions. We are both matchmaking together at Maar. Cassandra is the head matchmaker. So kind of going into this, who is our typical client base?
I would say high achieving professionals. Yeah. I mean, we work in different sectors, but I think that mainly here in New York, it's a little bit of like a lot of finance, a lot of people that work in private equity, family offices, banking,
tech, startups,
entrepreneurs. Yeah. We like investors.
We've worked with a few doctors as well.
We work with a few doctors as well. But I think that the main thing is like they're high achieving, really busy people. Yeah. And to be honest, a lot of these clients are looking for similar backgrounds and similar what's the word?
People want, so like what we've also found is like people who are very intellectual and high achieving, they typically want other people who
are also intellectual and high achieving.
Exactly.
Everyone's open to different things and everything, but I think that a lot of our clients are like, I do want someone who I can have a conversation about food, or traveling, or someone who can like travel the world with me,
or documentaries, or whatever topics that you're mutually interested in. And we joke a lot at Maar because we also do a lot of dating app reviews, and we talk about how to build the best dating app in both our course and journal. But what I've seen a lot is that a lot of people want to show that they don't take themselves that seriously, which drives me insane. It's like, you should take yourself seriously. What are you talking about? You're in your 30s.
But that's the thing. A lot of guys put that in their prompts.
Right. They want someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously.
Don't take the girl who doesn't take themselves too seriously. But in reality, I mean, you have to be serious. You have to be serious in a way. It's like about the important stuff, take it seriously, and about the not important stuff, don't take it seriously.
Right.
Down to earth. But like, that's the thing. Like, you have to be down to earth. And most of the people that we work with are, and so that's not something that we encounter. But it's like they think that people want someone who doesn't take themselves so seriously.
Yep.
And they put a wrong image of them out there.
Yeah. They put an image out there that like shows that they're one way, when in reality there's something that's way deeper and more multidimensional.
Yeah.
And it's like you're almost like selling yourself short. And so I definitely, like, when these things happen, like, first of all, like, if you're a woman in your 30s, I definitely don't think you should have a full bikini shot of yourself on a dating app profile. That really is sending the message of, like, I want to hook up. If you're a woman in your 30s or a man in your 30s and you have pictures of you at the club, but you don't like to club, why do you have that on your dating app profile? Yeah. That doesn't make sense.
Or even, like, too funny. I think that a lot of times, like, we see a lot of pictures of, like people making faces and like showing themselves being like quirky, and it's like, I don't think you need that. Like, once you guys meet,
then show your personality.
Yeah, they'll know who you are.
And also show your personality through your prompts. That's where I talk about the unique pairings. That's where I talk about like what makes you light up when you talk about it. What are you passionate about? What would people not expect you to be super into, but you're into? The specific is truly the universal. So by shining your light and being like, this is what I'm into, like, that's going to attract the guy. That's what's going to make you stand out from the crowd.
Remember that story we just heard about this girl who found her partner? So they met through Hinge, and but she says, like, I don't want that to define how we met, because apparently right before they met, she was doing a lot of manifestation, and she was doing all these things to like put herself in a really good mindset of like, I am going to find my person and I deserve everything, and I am changing my life. And she was like taking very, very seriously, and not in a way that it was like, oh, well, whoever comes around, maybe whatever. She was like, no, I'm gonna find my person, and I'm gonna be happy, and they're gonna be everything I've ever wanted. She literally goes into Hinge, her first date, it's this amazing guy, and they're not in a relationship.
Yeah.
And this was not long ago. So it's like the apps are still working.
Yeah.
Right? And so she's like, I think that my love story cannot be determined by Hinge. It's determined by who I was at that moment.
Right.
So she's like, I did everything that I could to manifest
and be
to
prepared.
Put myself and be prepared and to put myself in the right mindset and be ready for that person to arrive into my life. And that's what I did, and that person arrived.
So, and like, that's half the battle, because so many people are like, where do I find people? And it's like, okay, we can direct you to finding people, whether it's, through your network, whether it's out in public, whether it's on the dating apps, but are you going to be ready for when they arrive? Have you done the work on yourself?
Yeah.
And are you also able to spot a good one?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people let the good ones slip through their fingers because in their mind they had a picture of something and maybe they didn't quite align with that perfect picture.
Yeah. That's what I like about our matchmaking sometimes. I think that after, let's say they meet their first match, right? And it's everything they asked us for. And they realize that. And then they're like, you know what? Now I realize that that's not what I wanted. And it helps us, the feedback helps us for us to, okay, now
refine the search.
And it's like, okay, that's perfect. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Now you realize that that's not what you're looking for. And it's nothing too big, because obviously like our advice comes into play, but it's like, it's mainly about their lifestyle, like the lifestyle they want to live. I feel like. So I think that they realize things. I think it's just a whole process. And that's the thing. That's what you have to date.
You have to date to collect data.
Yeah, you can't stay like saying like, no, I'm just gonna date one person. That person's gonna be it. No.
Right.
Like you have to build a muscle. You have to know what you want. You have to understand what you don't want. You have to go through the whole thing and then be ready.
Yeah, and I also think the nice thing about matchmaking is, you know, with the paradox of choice, because we're not a dating app. We're very curated and we're going to do our work with you, understand what you're looking for, and then go out and find it, but also use our judgment. And, you know, as we're interviewing people, looking at what's going to make you, like, who are you going to be compatible? So it's a combination of you trusting us with, you know, us finding what you're actually looking for. And I think that, you know, the paradox of choice says the more options you have, the worse decisions you make. And so that's where we come in, and we're going to put one person in front of you at a time. And I think that's really magical. And even with one of our success stories we had, I remember Cassandra showed her the picture of the guy that we matched her with. And she was like, oh no, he looks like a serial killer. I don't know if I should go on a date with him. But Cassandra had met him in person, and she's like, no, he's like a really good looking guy. Like some guys just like don't take good photos. And not only that,
I think that is not only about like the way that they look.
Yes.
Like, he was such a good guy, and he was so intentional, and he was amazing. And right now they're in a long-term relationship and they're going great. And it's like trust us and trust the process. Trust the process. Yeah.
The photo is one piece of the puzzle, right? But also it's like, how do they show up? What are their intentions? Are they looking for something serious? Yeah. Because if somebody is truly looking for something casual, you're not going to be able to trick them into getting into a relationship with you and getting married within a year. Like what? That's never going to happen. So you have to honor your own timeline too. Okay, this person said, how do you find potential dates for a client if another client isn't a match for them?
Okay, so we have a process. And so the first thing, obviously in a perfect world, everyone is our client, right?
Yep.
But the thing is, like, again, we're not a dating app. And so a lot of things have to be aligned. And we truly work hard on trying to find them what they're looking for and what's best for them. And so if a client is not it, we go through the list of clients that we have. Then we go through our coaching clients. And then we go through our database. And then we go out and try to find, if none of those people are a good match for a client, then we go out. But I think it's good to have those type of like levels, just because of the type of commitment that these people have with us. Again, a client, obviously they have like the full commitment to us. A coaching client, same thing. Like we know they're serious about what they're doing.
And we know their personality. We've taken so much time with them, so now we know who we're dealing with.
Yeah,
you know, inside and out.
And like I think it's better to when that happens, because there's better like the relationship is way better, and we can work harder on like coaching them, because again, we want them to get into relationships, not only on the dates. And so it's just an easier process. Then we go into our databases, you know, like we have a free database that you can be on. And then if none of those people are a good match, then we go out.
And we're on LinkedIn. So Cassandra and myself, we used to be headhunters. We actually met a few years back doing recruiting. And so we have a lot of contacts. I was more on the biotech tech side. She was more on the hedge fund, private equity, luxury real estate, banking side. And so we have this really expansive network. And then also we're going to multiple networking events every week where we're meeting people. We have a partnership with some sports agents. And so we really are working with high caliber people, and we get a lot of recommendations because in the professional world, there's a lot of like mentor-mentee relationships too. And one of the things that we've learned is that a lot of these mentors who are already married, they understand that who you choose as your lifelong partner is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life. They can either send you on an upward trajectory or a downward spiral. And so you have to be really intentional. It can't just be like, oh my God, we have crazy, amazing sex. It has to be more than that.
Yeah.
It has to be more than the picture. It has to be, we have family values, we have aligned visions and goals, we you know what I mean, the deeper stuff. And so they recommend their up and coming superstars from their businesses to us.
Yeah, and even in recruiting, we used to see that all the time. Like if we get a candidate a job, is like, have they talked to their wives about it? No, they haven't. They're not going to take the job. You know, it's just as simple as that.
Who you marry will be very influential on you.
And like your family, your kids, like that's going to come first before anything else, before your job, before anyone else, you know, like even your own parents, you know. I think it's just, it becomes like your immediate family. And so it's just the most important thing in life. And so I think that a lot of people care about other people, like their mentees, or their, like you said, we work with agents, and they care about the decisions that their athletes make. So it only makes sense to have a good connection for that.
Yeah, totally. Let's go through some listener questions. This person said, I'm not getting any matches by sending likes or roses on Hinge. WTF. I think that what you could do is you can update your profile, your prompts and your photos, make sure that those are amazing. And then after that, it's like, okay, like if you're in a city where the ratio is off and there's like, for example, in New York, there's 7 women to 1 man. Okay, then you're expanding your search by at least 100 miles, maybe 200 miles. You're open to dating people maybe a little bit older. If you know, it depends on what age you are. We honestly need more information. And we could cover that with, you know, coaching as well. But yeah, I think that if you're getting absolutely no inbound back, then you need to kind of widen your parameters. And we're not saying lower your standards. We're saying widen your search and your parameters. Also, dating apps should be 1/3 of the search. So make sure that you have an amazing dating app and you're doing that daily and using that daily, but also you're going out in public, because maybe you're somebody who's not as photogenic. No worries. Then you should be, you know, going to hotel bars, lobbies, steakhouses, wherever, to go out and meet people IRL, tennis clubs, run clubs. You know, if you're not a big drinker, no worries. There's plenty of like community classes, you know, places to meet, charity, galas, etc., where you could be out and about meeting people and then asking people like, will you invite me to the next party you host? You know, I'm trying to network more. Will you invite me out and about? And so like having that 3-pronged approach, or hiring a matchmaker as well. But like having that 3-pronged approach is really important, but also like starting with making sure that your photos and your prompts are good.
Yeah, I think that's definitely number one step. And then if that doesn't work, okay, then it's a deeper issue there. Right. And it takes a lot to understand what the problem is. And that's where you probably need someone who can help. Yeah.
And are you prioritizing the right things? Because actually there are more men than women on dating apps. And so a lot of women are like, there's no men out there. And it's like, on the dating apps, there's actually quite a few men. You know, maybe they're not all the men you think you want to end up with. But, okay.
But they could be amazing, though.
They could be, and they
have to give people a chance,
right?
I think a lot of people don't give people a chance, and that's a little sad to me. Like, give people a chance. Yeah, there are some really great guys up there that are 5'8", 5'9". You know?
Oh, totally. Or 5'7", 5'6". like, honestly, when you're laying down, it doesn't matter how tall they are.
Yeah.
And when you have like the beautiful family that you've always wanted,
Mhm.
and you have the aligned visions and goals, and you're both financially like compatible, who cares about a few
How
inches?
tall are the Jonas Brothers?
They're short.
They're short.
kings.
Yeah, and everyone dies over them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think height is the most irrelevant statistic. I think it tells you nothing about the person.
Mm-hmm.
Even besides, they were born with those genetics. But it's like, and everyone wants to feel small, and I get it. But it's also like, if you want to feel small, then like hit the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a feeling you can give to yourself.
Yeah.
So
Go on a diet. Yeah.
this is the savage part of us. We're like, if you want to feel small, then like do the things that you can do to feel small. But like, don't make a man make you feel small.
Mm-hmm.
You know. This person said, "How do I know if someone is out of my league?" I think this is an interesting question. I want to hear what your thoughts are first.
How do I know if someone is out of my league? I don't know. I don't think that there are leagues. I think there are stereotypes, and I think that there are expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say that you are a very fit person, either a guy or a woman, you will probably want to be with someone who also hits the gym with you, or would also get up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to hit the like Orange Theory with you.
Yeah.
Right? That's just like, that's who you are, and that's who you want to be with.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone who's not that active, for them to be like, oh, I want to be with the guy who hits Orange Theory 7 days a week, I think that's a little, that I don't think that match makes sense. So I think that a lot of times is like that kind of like out of the league, which is like not necessarily. I think it's just like different likings.
Yeah, and I also think that at the end of the day, dating is truly about your connection and your dynamic with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why sometimes you see a couple and you're like, oh, I wouldn't really put the two of them together.
But they might have a lot in common.
Exactly. And their dynamic together is magical.
Right.
And like, as a third party looking from the outside in, you're like, that doesn't really make sense. But like, you don't know what they're like behind closed doors together.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, don't be so caught up in leagues. Be more caught up in like finding somebody who fits really well with you and who you have an amazing connection with.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends who are like, they're both really active, or even friends who she's not active and he is. Like literally both ends of the spectrum, but it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like Sam and I are not like that active.
Yeah, totally.
But it works for us, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think I just think that you have to be with someone who you could have like a similar routine. And that could work for you guys.
Yeah.
But I think that that's when people are like, oh, like I'm out of his league, or I think that's a little like
high school.
Yeah.
I do too. And I think that one thing that we've noticed too is that a lot of the women and men, and maybe this is more women, but a lot of them are like, you know, we're all in our 30s now, and they're like, oh, these men are looking so old. And it's like, but we're all aging too.
That is such a truth.
Yeah.
We have been and just in general, these are just trends that we see overall.
Yeah.
Because we are always, every time we go out, we literally talk about dating, no matter who we are with.
Yeah.
So it's just like data that we collect everywhere we go. I think that when you're in your 30s and you're not dating as often, your mind is still a little bit like from college.
Yeah, like you want
early
like Harry
20s.
Styles.
Yeah. And you get fixated on this guy that like looks like a 25-year-old, but now you're 35 and he is also 35. So what is he actually looking like? And so now you're 35 dating 36, 37, maybe 38, and these guys look old. They don't look 25.
Right.
And so a lot of women are like, they are so old. And it's like, yes, they are.
But like, so are you. But like with peace of
so
love,
are you.
Like I'm 32. I understand that. Like I, you know, I don't want to date somebody with a baby face because I understand that I'm past that age group.
I think that's a little bit of like, I think it's a little bit of like the fact that you don't grow with that person, because I even see pictures of me and Sam and we look so young.
Yeah, when you first met.
6 years ago. And it's like, I don't see it because we've been together for so long.
True.
And it's like, maybe if I saw him now, I'll be like, oh my God, he looks a little old.
He's a little old. Yeah.
But it's like the fact that you grow together. But I think that that's why you have to always keep dating to always like realize that age, like that age difference, you know, like now you're 31 and you're dating 31-year-olds. Now you're 32 and you're dating 32-year-olds. Like you can't stop. Otherwise, like you get stuck in the past. You know?
Right. And then you're going to be dating nobody. Yeah. Because the world will keep going.
Like your mind will still be when you were 25 and now you're 35.
Totally.
That's so crazy.
And again, it's like, it's not, when you're dating, it's not, I always tell people, it's not Build-A-Bear. Like, you can't like build the perfect man. You're not buying a Tesla and choosing the, you know, camel interior and the white exterior. Like, it's a person, like, you know, and so are you, and nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm basically perfect, but like besides me, no, I'm just kidding. This person said, so drained by guys saying they want another date and then ghosting advice.
To that, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Just keep moving. If they say they do, but they don't hold their word to it, it's fine.
Guys don't always say what they mean. Sometimes they just say things. We've even seen it with our matchmaking clients where a guy will be like, yeah, like,
I had an amazing time, but no thank you.
And we see that more with men where they're like, yeah, it was a great date, but nope, I'm not interested. Their minds are a little bit more
they're weird,
black and white.
But it's fine. It's like, thank you for letting me know, actually. Yeah. It's like, I'm glad that, is this a second date, third date? Perfect.
They didn't qualify.
Amazing. Don't call me again. You're not the kind of guy I want to date.
No.
Because you're not interested, you're not being consistent, you're not doing all the things that matter to me. So thank you. And please stay away.
and good day, sir.
Yeah.
And like, if someone's not consistent, you don't want them.
Yeah.
You want somebody who is consistent and committing to you.
Yeah. I'm gonna go like, we're gonna go out tomorrow night. And you guys go out tomorrow night. And we're going to do this next week. And you guys do that next week. That's what you're looking for. Someone who's like committed to what they are saying they're going to do. Because one thing is...
And they follow through.
Because one thing is like the things that we say. And another very, very different are the things that we do. So the things that we do are the ones that matter, not the things that we say.
I concur. This person said, why don't men approach me? That's a tricky one because we would need to like talk to her. Yeah. But like high level, do you see any trends?
I would say where, number one.
Where are you?
Where are they not approaching you? At a bar? At a coffee shop? At work? I think it depends on the context, and it also depends who you're with. Are you with like a ton of other girls? I think I read this in the book, and it's like, no, a guy will not, or even like it depends on who those guys are with, because I think that a lot of guys are afraid of failure. Yeah. And so if they are with their friends,
they don't want to be rejected.
They don't want to be rejected in front of their friends. Yeah. So there's so many reasons why that it's like and they're not bad reasons. You know, they're not because people are bad and like they don't like you, or it has probably nothing to do with you or what you look like or being like pretty or not pretty or too big or whatever, which is probably what we are all thinking, you know, that we don't look good enough. Yeah. I think it's way beyond that.
It's more about your energy. I always say, like, when possible, try to go places alone, or if you go out with someone, make sure you just bring one friend and you both have the intention of working the room and meeting other people. So it's not a time that you're catching up with your friends socially. It's like, we're going out tonight to meet people and we have each other's back. But in general, like, I would also say don't bring your competition to the bar with you. So if your friend is the same exact look as you, but maybe slightly prettier, don't bring that friend. Also, bring someone who's opposite.
Also, it could be your energy. Like, maybe you just got out of work and like you're at the bar and you're like, oh my God, like so stressed, but I need to meet someone. Yeah. And like you're wearing like your suit and like you're not even like looking like sexy. It's like, I mean, and not sexy, but like
sexy. No, because here's another thing. Dating really is about romance. The appearance piece of the puzzle is like, a lot of guys, like, the appearance gets you in the door, and then the personality and who you are deep down is what makes people stay. And so, like, even like simple things like doing your hair, doing your makeup, putting on a fresh outfit. This person said, talk to us about the pullback phase. I feel like this is a consistent theme in dating, specifically men.
What is the pullback phase?
So when men pull back because, okay, so this is kind of going back to men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And men have like this deep emotional need for independence. And so whenever a man is getting into a relationship, all men at some point panic a little bit, right? And that's when the pullback happens. And just know that they will come back. And we talk about the rubber band theory.
I think it's not only like that they freak out. I think it's mainly like they have different ways of dealing with their issues that they need to step back a little bit
to take care of business.
And I think that a lot of times us women are like, what are you doing? Why are you stepping away? Like, no, like, come here and like give me attention. And it's like, oh, do you not like me anymore? And like all these things. And it's like, he just needs a minute to breathe.
Yeah,
you know, like
that's the pullback.
That's a pullback. Just let him go.
And you stay where you are.
You're confident. You know who you are. You
know your value.
Know your values. You know he likes you because he's there for a reason.
You have the data.
You have
to back it up.
You have the data, which you put in the journal probably. And so it's like he'll come back when he's ready. And if he doesn't come back, then maybe you do have to do a little bit more research into like what happened. You know, I think that there's always a reason, but I think most of the times, and the part that it's like the part that you're referring to is like that pulling back because they have different ways of dealing with issues or things or whatever, you know, but they will always come back. I feel like
they will, and like, but like going back to the rubber band theory is that they will it's best to stay where you are or even take a step back because that creates the tension of the snapback. Whereas if they're going this way and then you're following them into their man cave, that's where like there's no tension created for the rubber band to snap back.
Yeah.
And so again, like have self-respect, like know your worth, know your confidence, know he likes you. He's just going away to retreat to take care of some internal problem, maybe external, you don't know what's going on. And like you can still communicate through it. Like you don't have to self-abandon and not like ask him if everything's good or whatever. You can still check in. Like, don't you think?
Yeah, totally. I think that, I mean, asking questions is definitely fair.
Yeah.
Not over asking questions. And I think that a lot of times we freak out and it's like, just understand where they're coming from. If they're like, not right now, then okay, not right now.
Got it.
You know, got it. But also don't be like a week, like 2 weeks of like, not right now. And it's like, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think one thing that we work with a lot of our clients is understanding how to self-soothe. And like when a guy is retreating, instead of throwing a tantrum and self-sabotaging and doing a bunch of protest behaviors, like calling them a million times, texting them a bunch, ending it. Like some people will just be like, oh, he's out, I'm out. And like they can't handle that little bit of ambiguity and the unknown.
I think a good time for me is like 3 days. I think that's in the book. I think they talk about like 3 days. And I feel like also like guys feel respected when you let them
go and solve their own problems. Because the worst thing you can do is try to solve your partner's problems for them. Women appreciate it more when the guy comes in as a problem solver, but men they have a very primal need to know that the woman respects him and thinks he's competent. And so when you go in and try to mother him in those moments, you're actually sabotaging the relationship. Unfortunately. Totally. Everything we're talking about is from Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It's a really dense book, but it's written by a psychologist and we both have read it and we both really like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How to navigate dating for the first time at 30. She dealt with trauma and avoided it and now is unsure how to talk about it on dates. If a guy asks about the last relationship, she feels like men will judge that she has like a lack of experience.
Okay. I think it's all about how you put it out there.
Okay.
Because you have to own your truth, but at the same time, yes, it's lack of experience, right? So it is all true. So you have to own it. Yeah. And I think that really good way to do it is just like say like, oh, yeah, like I don't know, maybe something like my last relationship was a while ago, you know? Like, don't go into deep details. Like, they're just asking you, like, oh, like, when was your last relationship? Oh, a while ago, you know?
A while ago.
And it's like, now I'm like,
in a different life.
In a different, yeah,
a really long time ago.
I think that a lot of times, like, we want to just like explain ourselves. We don't have to.
Never explain, never complain.
Never explain. Like, no, you don't have to tell anyone you have been on a second date that they're asking when was your last long-term relationship. I mean, honestly, like, why are they asking? Number one, but it's fine. A while back. It's fine. Like, they're not asking, have you had any trauma? Can you tell me exactly when that was, you know? Yep. And it's like, and they will understand. And I think a guy who respects you probably won't ask that question. Or if they respect you, they won't keep asking more questions.
Right. I think that it's a common question that comes up. And even like with the guy I'm seeing right now, I asked him the other day, I was like, what were all of your fights with, you know, with your past relationships? Like, what were like the major fights? Which I think is actually a really juicy question. But also maybe not the best question now that I'm thinking about it in real time. But like, if he would have been like, yeah, we fought a lot, or we didn't fight much, and he like left it at that. Like, I respect him enough where I would not have kept like poking and prodding. Come on, tell me more. Like, I wouldn't. No,
like, you get your answer, and then you move on.
And everyone can answer in whatever way is comfortable, and so just like deliver it, be confident. It was a while back. Leave it there, and then as you get to know him and maybe like, you know, deeper into the relationship, a year in, whatever. Maybe not quite a year. It depends on the relationship and the dynamic. You can start to go into different layers of who you are. But I think prematurely telling people who don't deserve your deepest secrets or your biggest insecurities, telling them on like a first or second date, like, they're not a rabbi or a priest. Like, you don't owe them anything.
And also, it's not a bad thing. I think, again, it's just the truth.
Yeah.
I think it's your truth.
You're judging it. You're judging a way.
You're judging yourself. I think it's like, I have never had a boyfriend.
It's fine.
And I mean, that's your journey. And you're ready to have one now. And it's like, don't let that define you, the fact that you didn't have a boyfriend.
Right.
Maybe you do like some experience, but maybe go see a dating coach. Go do this. Like, earn, like,
earn your stripes?
No.
No. I'm like, whoa.
No, like, be empowered by who you are.
Yes.
Be
proud of who you are.
Be proud of who you are.
You've overcome trauma.
Yeah, you overcome all these
things. And
things.
now you're ready.
Yes. So I think that's the thing. Like, don't let that define you, because it's a negative thing to define you. It's all about how you put it out in the world. Like, everyone has a past. Everyone has history. Everyone has a story. So it's like, own it. It's what made you who you are today. Yeah. And you should love who you are today.
Yeah. Give yourself a little self-love.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been amazing. So thanks again for tuning in today. We're so excited about our matchmaking, our journal, our course, and our coaching.
You can find all of this at our website.
Yep. That Cassandra built.
It's maardatingclub.com. Yep. And you can find the link to our website in our social media, on our LinkedIn. Yeah. Or just like clicking.
And don't wait to date. Like, I think that's the last message I want to end with today is so many of our clients are like, I don't know if right now is the right time. And I think the biggest mistake people make is thinking that there is a right time. Yep. You have the present moment now. Nothing's guaranteed. And like, life is always busy. There's always a new promotion coming along. There's always a family thing that's going to happen. But if you really want a partner and you really want to prioritize your love life, do it now. That's like a little like sappy, but
no,
I just think it's so important. If
just go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on. Okay, thank you, Cass.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.